No,
go to the
quattro
bathroom,
means
bathroom,
quart,
but-
like quart of milk, right? She said
Okay.
you're not going to have
Yeah.
potato chips, but you will drink that milk.
In any case, we have this. It's fine.
Okay, fine.
Okay, let's try some of this meatloaf, okay?
No!
Hey, you're not having chips!
Yeah, I don't think she's getting on board with the plan, honey.
I don't want this!
You sure you don't want to just give her some chips?
No, we're not giving her chips. We're just gonna eat.
Lita, stay right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't cry. Relax. Watch her, okay?
I'm so sorry. Okay, you give those to me. Ow, girl.
Don't cry.
Really good.
Oh my God, you okay?
What are you doing? What? Try to put it out. Put it out.
Okay.
Where's my potato chips?
Oh, we're not having chips tonight, Munchkin. Sorry.
I want my chips.
Lita,
Wait.
vete a tu cuarto. Oye, ¿por qué me estás de ahora?
Lizzie, please, Lizzie, no, okay? I got this.
Why are you yelling at me? I'm just trying to help you.
I'm not yelling. I am. Just then I was, but it's, look, Lita, don't do what Lizzie just said. What did you say? Quattro, go to your bedroom
No,
thing, go to the
quattro
bedroom,
means
bathroom.
quart, like quart of milk, right? She said
Okay.
you're not going to have
Yeah.
potato chips, but you will drink that milk.
In any case, we have this. It's fine.
Okay, fine.
Okay, let's try some of this meatloaf, okay?
No!
Hey, you're not having chips!
Yeah, I don't think she's getting on board with the plan, honey.
I don't want this!
You sure you don't want to give her some chips?
No, we're not giving her chips. We're just gonna eat.
Lita, stay right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't cry. Relax. Watch your feet, okay?
Freeze,
Don't
I'm
touch
so
them,
sorry.
okay?
Hey, you give those to me. Give me.
Calm down. Don't cry. I'll get it. Just stay there, Mark.
These are really good potatoes.
Oh my God, you okay?
What are
What are you doing?
What? I'm trying to put it out.
The ketchup?
Put it out.
Okay. Lita?
Wait. What's that noise? Why is she growling? That wasn't in the classes. I got nothing for that. She's got a knife.
It's just a SpongeBob
It's
knife.
still a knife.
Just put the knife down, honey.
Look here, just put down the weapon, okay?
You guys want me to deal with this, or do you still got it?
Yeah, do you want to let her jump in here now, please?
Okay, fine.
Mira, ve a bañarte y de ahí vas a tu cuarto y vas a dormir, ¿ya?
Gracias.
Why don't you guys stand with us in worship? Staring into your eyes makes my heart come alive. Suddenly brought to life when I met you. All right. Reaching beyond the skies, running deep, stretching wide. Perfect love realized, me with you. When it's love is for real, you will never let go, never let go. Oh, it's more than just words, love beyond my control, out of control. This is real love, this is real love. This is real love, this is real love. Whoa. You're pulling me closer and closer, holding my heart in the very end. Jesus, I'm finding freedom. This is real love. This is real love. I want you. You won't let me down. You got me. This love is for real, you will never let go, never let go. Oh, it's more than just words that I can it's all out of control. This is real love. This is real love. This is real love. This is real love. You're pulling me closer, holding my heart till the very end. Jesus, I found in freedom. This is real love. This is real love. This is real love. Into your eyes makes my heart come alive. Suddenly brought to life when I look at you. Ready? 1, 2, 3, jump! This is real love. This is real love. This is real love. This is real love. Whoa.
And that was hype. That was hype. And as we transition into this next song, God is so good, turning death into life. Sing this with me. I searched the world, it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise, treasures that fade are never enough. You came along, put me back together. Day is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you seen them all, and you still call me friend. God of the mountains, God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn mountains into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
Thank you for what you're doing tonight. We thank you for what you have already done, and we come before you with great expectation for what you have in store for us tonight. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear what you are saying to us. Praise your name. Amen. You guys are far too kind. But hey, before we kick things off, take a look at this. Now, my guess is you can relate to at least one of those comments. My guess is you've been in a space or a place where people around you shocked you a little bit. I think I was in like 6th grade. My best friend had moved to Atlanta. He came back and visited us in Chicago, and we decided that we were gonna go have a good time. And so we went to what we considered the middle school version of Chuck E. Cheese. This place had go-karts, bowling, video games. It was incredible. It's called Christoph's. It no longer exists. But we show up. We're having a good time. It's me, my Tommy, and Brian. We're having a blast. Video games. He bumped into another car, and the guy gets a little bit upset. Like he starts saying some things and we're going, okay, this might not turn out so good. So we're going to go somewhere else for a little bit. And we're playing pool. we're bowling. We decide we're going to go back to the go-karts. We get in the go-karts, and right before we are allowed to go, we look, and the guys that we bumped into earlier, well, they got in the go-karts as well. So we're racing around, and they are like intentionally coming after me and my friends. Like they're trying to like hit us and run us off the road. And finally we're like, that's it, I'm done. I'm just gonna go home. My mom had just showed up to pick us up, and they followed us. They followed us all the way to the parking lot. And when we get in the parking lot, they start saying things that I probably should never repeat, things directed at my mom. And I started to get really, really upset. Right about that moment, I should have known who the guys around the car with me were. Like I should have understood the way that my friends would have responded. You see, Brian, he was about my height, but he was a hothead. I mean, like he was that guy that was looking for a fight. He's like, let's go, let's do this, I'm ready. Like he's on way too much caffeine all of the time. Tommy, however, Tommy in 6th grade was 6'4". He's a big dude. And I look as these guys are saying things about us, and where's Tommy? He's hiding behind my mom. Like the biggest guy in our group is hiding behind my mom. You would think that I would have known who was standing with me, but I had absolutely no idea. Here's my question to you. Because everywhere we go, we have people that are interacting with us. And I wonder, who has access to your life? Who are you allowing to speak into what you do, what you say, where you go, what you think? Who are you allowing to have influence in your life? Oftentimes, we say that people fall into one of 4, now 5 categories. Either they're a stranger, someone we've never met, who we have no idea anything about them. Like we could pass them 50 times and never realize it. We have the acquaintance. That's a person that we might know. We might see them in the hallway. We might go, oh yeah, I recognize you, but I don't even know your name. There's a new category called the internet friend. That's the person that we don't actually physically know, but we've learned about them online. Maybe we've talked to them on Insta or Snap. Like we don't really know them. We know what we think we know about them. Then you have the friend, who's a person that you would choose to be around. The person, you know their name and you know their likes and their interests. And then you have the best friend. The person that like, it's your ride or die. Is the person that like you can call on and you know no matter what, they are going to be there. But sometimes we allow people into our world and give them the ability to speak into what we do when maybe we shouldn't. The average high school student is looking for one of 3 things in every one of their relationships. They're looking for a sense of belonging. They're looking to be valued, and they're looking for someone to instill confidence in them. And so we look to our friends to help us navigate. We look to our friends to influence us in what we say, in what we do, and what we like. But sometimes there are people that actually influence us in all the wrong ways. Sometimes there are people who don't have that positive effect on us that we're hoping for. In fact, there was a study done pre-COVID, and the results that came back were scary. It said that 33% of all high school students feel connected. So look to your right, look to your left. One of you feels connected. One of you feels like you have the right friends, like you have community, you have people who care about you, people that are looking out for you. But 32% would say that they persistently feel sad or helpless because of a lack of connection. So to your right or to your left, one of you feels connected, one of you feels disconnected, and one of you is unsure. Not only that, but this study went on to say that 17% of all high school students have at some point considered an attempt at suicide. And that 19% of students would say that on a regular basis, they experience bullying at school. See, sometimes we allow the wrong voices headspace. We allow the wrong voices to say things and to take residency in our thoughts and in our minds. Another study pre-COVID said this: 40% of all high school students feel anxious about important decisions. 40% of high school students are afraid to fail. 40% of high school students are uncertain about their future, but 20% feel insecure about who they are. See, we are living in a world where we're looking for people to validate us. We're looking for people to say, hey, I see you, I know you, I value you. I want to build you, I want to help you see that you are a part of something. And yet, for one reason or another, we're not experiencing it. And now, one might ask the question, why is all this happening? Why do almost half of high school students feel disconnected, feel anxious and stressed and depressed? Why might that be? Well, there's a pastor in the Midwest. His name is Craig Rochelle, and he says that we become the average of our 5 closest friends. We become the average of the 5 closest people to us. So if we're allowing negative people around us, we're going to feel negative. We're going to have negative thoughts about ourselves and about the world around us. Now, have you ever heard someone ask you the question or say to you that you need to remove someone from your life? That there is someone in your world who is just, they're a bad apple. They're just not influencing you in the right way. They're just not helping you be the person that you want to be. Maybe they genuinely are just a bad influence. Maybe they're doing all the wrong things, all the wrong times, and they're just leading you down the wrong path. Or maybe they're a good person, just not good for you. Maybe they're not doing all the wrong things. They're just not helping you become the reflection of the image of God that you are. See, when I was growing up, if someone were to say to me, hey, you need to remove this person from your life, it was easy. Because the minute I left school, they weren't there. Like the minute they called, I could hang up and not to worry about them. Like the weekend could happen and I wouldn't see them. But for you today, they're in your back pocket. All they need to do is to find your Instagram name. All they need to do is to find your phone number. All they need to do is to DM you. And that person you're trying to avoid is right there. It's not so easy anymore to simply remove somebody. So what if there was an alternative? What if the goal was not to actually remove someone from your life? What if there was a better way? If you've spent any time in church, you probably heard someone say, hey, if you want to know how to live the best life possible, look to what Jesus did. Like Jesus is the example on how we can live the best possible life. And while Jesus walked this earth, he said, hey, the goal of any one of his followers is to help create and invite others to follow Jesus. He said, go to the nations. Go from your neighborhood to the distant places and invite people into a better way, to know God, to know that Jesus left perfect heaven and came to imperfect earth to die for you and for me so that we can be back in a relationship with God. Well, years before that, Jesus was having a conversation with a guy. And this guy, he asked a really interesting question that actually helps us understand how we can go and live what we call the Great Commission, to go and make disciples of all the nations. And in Matthew 22, it says this gentleman walks up to Jesus and says, teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Now, he was trying to trick Jesus. He's like, hey, I know that there are 10 commandments, and there are over 300 laws, 612, I think it is, that we're supposed to follow. So which one's the most important? Like he was trying to trick Jesus, and yet Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. He goes on to say, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So in this one moment, Jesus says, if I had to boil it down, love God and love others as you love yourself. Let's pause here for a second, because I think some of us, we go to love others, but we take out that as we love ourselves. If you talk poorly about yourself, if you devalue you, if you allow others to tell you that you are not good enough, you have a really hard time loving other people. If you don't love you and see you as the reflection of the image of God, then it's going to be really hard to see that about somebody else. I think sometimes we read this, though, and we develop a problem. See, we read what Jesus said, love God and love others as you love yourself, and we think that means that we must treat everyone the exact same. There's a pastor, his name is Darius Daniels, and he puts it like this. He says that we are to love biblically, value equally, and treat different. Love biblically. And in other words, that means that we are to love unconditionally. See, for God so loved the world, for God so loved every single one of us that he sent his son. Even though we had broken that relationship, God sent his son for you and for me to value equally. See, when you look at someone, you are looking at the reflection of the image of God. Whether they look like you, act like you, talk like you, dress like you, like the things that you like or don't, that person is the reflection of the image of God, and therefore they deserve to be valued equally. But here's where we get tricky. Treat different. See, not everyone's going to add the same value to your life as a person next to them. As a matter of fact, not everyone should have the same volume in your world as a person next to them. Not everyone contributes to you the same. Now, if we really look at Jesus' life and say that Jesus invites us to live the best life possible, how does Jesus demonstrate love biblically, value equally, but treat differently? Well, towards the very end of Jesus' life, there's this moment around a table. It's called the Last Supper. And it's at this table, Jesus demonstrates these three things. Now, before this meal, Jesus enters into Jerusalem, and the entire community is chanting. Like they are treating him like he's a rock star. I mean, they are going nuts. Jesus is here. Hosanna, Hosanna. Jesus is the king. But after this meal, he's arrested, he's beaten, he's betrayed, and ultimately he pays the penalty for you and I. He's nailed to a cross where he dies. But in between these two moments, we see Jesus set the example for how we're to treat those that are sitting at our table. Now, at this table, Jesus has a doubter who's not sure if anything is possible. We have two competitive brothers who are wanting all of Jesus' attention. We have the hot-tempered one. We have the overly cautious one. We have the best friend, the gossip, the unpopular, the popular, the one who loves the government, the one who hates the government. We have the one that would go on to say he is the one that Jesus loved. We also have the betrayer. The one whose actions damage those around him in ways he couldn't possibly imagine. But here's the thing, at that table, none of this was a surprise to Jesus. In fact, 3 years before that, Jesus would go on to invite all of these guys to follow him. He knew who was at his table. So let's break it down. How does Jesus biblically love each of these guys? He starts by serving them. See, at this meal, normally you would find a servant with a towel over their arm, a bowl of water, who would wash the feet of every guest. And yet, on this particular night, it plays out a little bit differently. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power and that he had come from God and was returning to God. You see, Jesus is God. He knows all that has happened. He knew what was about to happen. He knew all that would happen years down the road. But in that moment, he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. He took on the role of a servant. And after that, he poured water into the basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel as it was wrapped around him. See, Jesus served those around him. And ultimately, he would serve us as well. By dying on the cross, doing the one thing that we cannot do, fix the relationship between us and God. But he doesn't stop there. Now, how does Jesus value equally? Well, he looks at his disciples and he invites them to follow his lead. The text goes on to say this: "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightfully so, for that is who I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet." In other words, don't put yourself at an elevated level. It's almost like he's looking at these guys going, hey, I know some of you want to be closer to me than others. I know some of you think you're better than others. And what I want to say to you is simply this: serve each other. Don't act like you're better than the person next to you. Don't try to outperform. Don't try to show that you have more significance than the others, because you are made in the image of my Father. And for that, you matter. You all have equal value. And I think some of us tonight, we need to be reminded of our own value. We need to be reminded that what someone else out there says does not change who we are. And for some of us, we need to be reminded that there are people out there who matter as well. That their value hasn't changed because of what they have said or what they have done or the way that they look. So how does Jesus then go on to treat them differently? This is the one that I think we struggle with the most. Treat people differently? Like hold on, come on. I thought we were supposed to love everyone always. I thought we were supposed to how does that work out? So in this moment, Jesus, he responds to two of his disciples, one indirectly and one directly. One of them is about to betray him, and one of them is about to deny him. And it would have been really easy for Jesus to sit there and go, I'm going to put you on blast, and you on blast, and you, and you, and you, and let's just put all of our dirty laundry out there. But he knew the people around his table well enough to know what would have an impact on them. He knew the people at his table well enough to know what they could handle. He knew the people around his table. And I think he's inviting us to do the same thing. You see, to Judas, the one who would betray him, he says, one of you will betray me tonight. But to Peter, the very same guy that Jesus says, on you, I'm going to establish my church. He says, Peter, tonight you're going to deny me. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. To one, he indirectly says, hey, I know what you're about to do. And to the other, he says, you. I see you. I know you. I know what you're going to do. We don't have to kick people out of our lives. We don't have to say, you don't have a place in my life, but we can move them to a different seat at our table. In order for us to love unconditionally, to value equally, and to treat differently, we are going to need Jesus. We are going to need Jesus guiding our steps. We're going to need Jesus reminding us of the value of others. We're going to need Jesus to remind us of our own value. We're going to need Jesus to remind us that there is nothing we could do to fix the broken relationship that we have with God, but he did it. And without Jesus, we would be lost. And if we would be lost, and yet we are now found, what makes us better than those at our table? You see, I believe that when we treat people the same, we end up hurting the people that matter the most. We end up giving the least of us to those that matter most. And when we do that, we focus on treating everyone equal. We value differently, but then we begin to love conditionally. I'm only going to care for you if you do for me. And if you don't do for me, then I can't care for you. But if you haven't proven, then I can't. In order for us to move someone from one seat at our table to another, we're going to need to begin to ask ourselves 3 questions. And the first question is simply this: who is at your table? Who are the people speaking into your life? Who are the people that you are allowing to have influence? Because the people in your world do. And as you begin to ask yourself, who is at my table? Use your eyes to pay attention. What do they do? Do they act the same with me as they do with that group over there? Do they treat people well when I'm there and when I'm not? How are they responding to other people? What do they say? Do their words match their actions? Do their words match this group and this group? Or are they simply saying the things that they think will get them the places they want to be? And then I think we need to listen to our heart. But sometimes we allow our feelings to be the dictator. I don't feel like I should like this person, so I'm not gonna. I don't feel a certain way, so I'm gonna respond a certain way. Our feelings are not dictators, but rather indicators. Our feelings are pointing to, hey, pay attention. Second question, how did they get their seat at our table? Did they just walk in and take it? Or did you invite them to sit in that seat? Did you allow that person access to you, or they come in and just demand it? Did they just walk in and take everything? You see, everyone has a seat, but it's not always the seat that they want. Everyone can have access, but not the access that they desire. And the third question is this: what rights do they have? See, a lot of times people will simply settle for what they want instead of what's actually best for you and what you actually need. When I was preparing to move to Georgia, I asked one of my mentors, I was like, hey, what do I need to know about the South? I grew up living in the Midwest, and the Midwest is very, very different than the South. And my mentor said to me this. He said, Justin, pay attention to the room that people invite you into. Pay attention to where you are allowed in someone's house. If you are simply an acquaintance, they're going to like hang out with you on the porch. And the conversation will probably stay pretty surface. But if you move from acquaintance to friend, they might allow you like in the living room or the family room. Maybe they'll invite you in to watch a game. And the conversation will get a little bit deeper. But pay attention. If someone allows you to sit right at the table in the kitchen, that's where some of the depth of conversation takes place. That's where those incredible moments will happen. I've heard it said otherwise. Do people have refrigerator rights? Can they just walk in and like take whatever they want? Some people, they walk in and they choose to stay. Like, hey, I don't want refrigerator rights. I want bedroom rights. Like, I want to sleep in the guest bedroom. I'm going to hang out here. I'm taking up residency. I'm not leaving. But you didn't give them access to that. So how did they get the seat that they are now occupying? Some of you guys know that a few weeks ago, my wife had a kid. We have a little girl. She's 3 weeks old as of Friday, and she is beautiful. But what some of you might not know is this. About 30 hours after she was born, she was rushed to the NICU. Her right lung had collapsed. And she was not doing well. And what I discovered was that there are people who I have invited into relationship with me who are sitting at my table, and they came around me and they prayed for us. and they brought us meals, and they supported us. And it was because of the people that I have allowed access to my life that I got through the hardest week of my life. How about you? Do you have people who are willing to drop everything when life gets tough to build you up and to point you to Jesus? Or do you have people in your world who they run? Things get hard, they're not there. You need someone, they don't answer. When things are good, they're there. They're right next to you. But when the rubber meets the road and you need someone, do they just disappear? For the last few weeks, we've been talking about life groups and how life groups are incredibly important. My life group, they came around my wife and I in ways that I did not think possible. And starting this week, we are launching life groups for you guys. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Apparently, Erica's had some coffee today. Here's how it looks. She's had a little bit more than that. Here's what it looks like. It's a group of people your age dealing with things that you are dealing with that like the same things you do and don't like the things that you like. It's people that you are allowing into your life to speak into you. People that you are going to journey with, that you're going to share the good, the bad, the ugly, the positive, the not so positive. They're going to be there for you, not because they have to, but because they want to. So starting this week, we're going to be gathering in life groups all across Paulding County, Cobb County, Cherokee, Bartow. And we're going to be meeting with our groups, talking about the things that matter. Because I know coming on a Sunday night and listening to someone stand up here and give a great message is cool. But life transformation takes place when you sit in your life group. Life transformation takes place when you're doing life with other people. When you're not just sitting in rows listening, but when you're able to talk and respond to one another. When you're there to invest in each other and to be invested in. When you are allowing someone to sit at the seat next to you at the table. So, here's my challenge tonight. My challenge is simply this. For those of you that are like, I'm not really sure if I really want to get into a group or not, simply explore it. For those of you that are like, you know what? Okay, I've tried. I've tried pursuing the things out there. I've tried to give myself to groups only to be booted out. My challenge to you is to connect. And to those of you that are like, you know what? I am ready. I am all in. I need someone to invest in me. I want to invest in others. My challenge to you is to commit. Commit to showing up to your group. Don't just flake. Because here's the thing that every one of us in this room knows. We know the pain of someone flaking. We know that it hurts when someone says, I'll be there for you, and then they peace out. So if you're not sure, explore. Check out a few groups. If you're ready to say, you know what, I'm in. I want to give in to a group. I want to allow people to speak into my life and connect or commit. This is what we're going to do. Because I also know this, that it's one thing to go, okay, yeah, that sounds great. I'll do that sometime. You're probably not going to follow through. But when you take a step to say, I'm in, I'm doing something, you physically say, I'm going to take the next best right step, you're more apt to follow through. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I've got two sets of cards here. One say guys, one say girls. And here's some pens. They've all been cleaned because, well, COVID. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Grab a card. Write your name and your phone number. Your email, what school you go to, and what grade you're in, and then pick a group. If you know one of the leaders on this list, and you're like, I really connect with that person, great, then put an X in the line next to their name. If you're not sure, then right, I don't know. And what we're going to do over the next couple of days is get you plugged into your group so that next weekend you can meet in your group and not wonder, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And not wonder, who am I going to be doing life with? Because, guys, you and I are one step away from having someone say, I need help. I need someone. So I'm going to ask Coy. Where are you at, Coy? Get up here, Coy. Get your guitar. Strum a little bit for us. Because nothing is more awkward than writing in silence. And then when you're ready, come up here, grab a card, grab a pen. Mark off the group that you want to either explore, connect with, or commit to. And then give it to me. When you're done with your card, give it to me. Or you want put it on that table right there. Put it on that table. Go from there. Pen can put it right back in there. I'll clean those later.
Or on the table, Josh.
Here's what I want to do. After you finish your card, stand up. But don't just stand where you're at. Don't just stand there and be like, okay, I'm cool. What we want to do is we want to transition to a time of celebrating who God is. And as we sing this song, we're not singing in hopes of impressing the person next to us. We're going to sing these words as a declaration of what we know to be true about God. And if you don't know it to be true, then I want to challenge you to sing it in a way that says, God, I want this to be true. I want this to matter. I want to experience this.
Let's sing about God's love.
have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. You're burning, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. That was your fault. Your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. I felt no worth. You paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, covered up with me. No wall you won't kick down, bar you won't tear out, covered up to me. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, covered up to me. No wall you won't kick down, bar you won't tear out, covered up to me. Not tonight. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, bar you won't tear down, coming after me. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, bar you won't tear down, coming after me.
we know that you are doing something more than we could imagine, more than we could fathom. And so, God, would you use us? Right now, God, I pray if there's even one person in this room sitting back going, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I fit in. I'm not sure if I belong. I'm not sure that they will accept me. Would we remember that you accept us just the way that we are? And that's why you sent your son. That it's nothing that we can do, but it's all about what you have already done for us. And because of that, we can come all that we are. So Jesus, would you move in our hearts? Move in our minds. Help us to see ourselves the way that you see us, and then allow us to love others the way that you love us. I pray this in your name. Amen.
Okay, guys, it's Justin's birthday, so we're gonna sing happy birthday to him.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
He didn't know.
Ready?
Put him on the spot.
Yeah. Okay. I said
Pick a key.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Justin. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. You have no idea how much that means. Well, I still 29. Amazing. I'll take that because I definitely don't feel like it. I feel every day of 39. What? Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to go out and play some dodgeball. Now hold on. Here's what you need to know. Caleb's ready. But you already knew that. Josh is ready too. Okay, so you're gonna get in groups of 4. Teams of 4. You pick your people. Winner of this dodgeball tournament